stolen cars move. Then we have the CBSA is not even allowed to patrol between official ports of entry. So people and drones can come in easily. Our plan will bring in high-powered scanners that can look into every shipping container at our major ports to see what's inside and stop the contraband. We'll have 2,000 more CBSA officers, boots on the ground. We will bring in watchtowers that have surveillance capability all along the frontier, and we will pay for it by canceling the wasteful multi-billion-dollar gun grab that targets our hunters and sportsmen. The gun grab, that's right. We're going to respect it. Do we have any hunters in the room? It's hilarious. They say in their famous report that by 2040 you won't be able to afford any food, so you'll have to go hunting for scraps. But they want to ban your hunting rifle. So how's that going to work? Are there any archers here? You have to go to archery. Oh, we got some archers over here. That takes a lot of patience. And you got to get it right. You miss, you ain't getting a second chance. And that deer is gone. Quick. Yeah. What's that? We're getting rid of that. Absolutely. We're getting rid of the liberal ban on our hunters. Our licensed, law-abiding sport shooters are not the problem. Make no mistake, though. The Liberals will ban every single civilian firearm. Every hunting rifle will be banned if they get back in, and the NDP will be happy to help them. My friends, the choice on crime is very simple. Either after the lost Liberal decade of raging crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder, we cannot afford a fourth Liberal term. We need a change to lock up the criminals, respect the hunters, and bring home safe streets for all of us. That's safety. We must stop the... Who's this? Oh, there he is. I met this guy already. Come on up here. He's going to stop the crime. Who's this? What? Remind me your name. We met already. Maxim. I met you in Penticton, didn't I? Yeah, what a great kid. And so, are you here to tell me that I have a ticket?
No.
Oh, thank God. I saw that pen there. I thought you were going to write me up for something. I thought maybe I parked in the wrong spot. So, you're going to be a police officer when you grow up?
Yes.
And why do you want to be a police officer?
To protect the city.
Isn't that wonderful? What a great kid. Is this your sister? Who's this? What's your name?
I'm Stella.
And Stella, do you know this police officer? Okay. Would you like to meet him?
Sure.
Okay, well, you better shake his hand. There you go. New friends. Maybe you'd like to be a police officer as well?
No.
What would you like to do?
Be a vet.
You want to be a vet? That's wonderful. What an incredible couple of kids. Amazing. Hey, we have an incredible future with kids like this, hey? Let's give them a round of applause. Thanks very much, everybody. Good to meet you, sweetheart. Many blessings. Oh, my. What's that? What's fishing? Yeah. Thank you. I love you, too. What an incredible crowd we have. Yeah. Thank you very much. And we're gonna fight for our safety. We're gonna fight for our kids. Those kids should not have to worry about stepping on dirty needles and crack pipes in the community. In the Lower Mainland, there are families that have to go to the soccer pitch an hour before the game. The parents have to line up in a row, walk the whole distance to make sure there's no drug paraphernalia to infect their kids. Meanwhile, we've lost 50,000 of our loved ones to drug overdoses, mostly fentanyl. A policy of radical drug liberalization has caused this problem to spread nowhere worse than in BC, where this so-called safe supply experiment has been most enthusiastically embraced, and where the federal Liberals and provincial NDP agreed to a decriminalization experiment that caused massive death. Everywhere I go, I meet families who've lost loved ones. promising young people who took a hit of something they didn't know about when they were, after they'd had too much to drink, or maybe they got an injury and got hooked on an opioid. My friends, we can turn this around, and we have a plan to do it. We're going to ban the drugs. We'll stop giving out tax-funded opioids. We're going to secure our borders. We will secure our borders to keep the drugs out. And finally, we will invest in treatment and recovery to bring our loved ones home drug-free. It will involve physical exercise, counseling, group therapy, yoga, job placement, transitional housing, getting people back on their feet and back into good lives. We will fund only those organizations that have a track record of getting people off drugs. I went to one such organization in Moncton not long ago, and it's called Harvest House. And I met these young men who were cleaning their lives up and turning it around, and they said, "Thank you for your help." And I said, "Don't thank me. I'm actually here to ask you for something. I need you. I need you to get better. Because when you are better, you're going to go out on the street and grab some guy off the street corner, and you're going to drag him in here, and then he's going to get better, and he's going to go back on the street and drag someone else in here, and one by one, we're going to turn lives around and end this drug crisis forever for a change." A hopeful future, a hopeful and brighter future where redemption is always possible. Anyone who wants to turn their life around will have an ally and a friend in a future Poilievre government. We need to protect this country and all of its people and uphold the great traditions of our past. Most of all, we need to be a secure and strong nation. So a conservative government will rebuild our long neglected military and support our troops. Four big, powerful Canadian-made Arctic icebreakers will be pushing through the ice and clearing the waters to ensure that the Russians and Chinese no longer do incursions. We will have submarines, Poseidon aircraft to surveil and intercept any incursions in our waters. We will have fighter jets and more landing strips. We will fill the vacancies in our Army, Air Force, and Navy. And we will build the first Arctic base since the Cold War, CFB Iqaluit. We will honor our veterans who serve this country. But we have some veterans over here. Give it up for our veterans, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Another veteran, thank you very much for your service, my friend. Thank you. Another veteran, young men and women who went and fought in the most dangerous place in the world. We'll bring in a Helmets to Hard Hats program and expand it so that our young veterans can take their incredible trades. We had a combat engineer and use those trades in the civilian economy, earning powerful paychecks. We will give a default treatment. So if someone is injured, we will assume that they got the injury from their service, and we will provide them with compensation and support so they don't have to fight their own government. We will stop apologizing for our history. No more cancel culture. For a change. Our passport will once again have its pages filled with our heroes, Terry Fox, the famous Five, the soldiers at Vimy Ridge, and countless others. We will also reinstate freedom of speech by canceling the liberal censorship law. purpose will be to unite our country around our common history, our common values, our common sense. We're going to see ourselves as Canadians first. We welcome people from all around the world. We welcome different cultures and traditions. But we also believe that when you come to Canada, you put this country first. You're part of a new national family. And everyone is welcome in that family. We will unite all Canadians for the purpose of the Canadian Promise. The Canadian Promise which allowed me, the adopted son of school teachers, to stand on this stage, that allowed my wife to arrive here as a refugee from Venezuela, 6 people in a basement apartment, and now a family that is wonderfully successful, that allowed generations of hardworking families to pass on a better life from one to the next. A country that is not made up of tax collectors and toll masters, bureaucrats and busybodies, gatekeepers and grandees, rulers and rule makers. No, we are a nation of artists and adventurers, of entrepreneurs and explorers, a nation of workers and warriors, of pioneers and patriots. We are a nation that stands up for itself, builds homes for its kids, protects its borders, honors its past, defends its vulnerable, believes in itself, honors those who came before us, and passes down the great treasures that we inherited to those who will come after us. We do all of this by raising our flag and saying that anyone from anywhere can do anything, that hard work gets you a beautiful life and an affordable home on a safe street under our proud flag. Canada first, Canada always. Let's bring it home.
Yeah, we fight for what's right. We're wild and we're free from the mountains of blue. And all you can see is more than just a play. We're free on the road. It's home. There's something to do about.
All right. He was good. He was a good speaker. When I went to the Carney thing, I nearly fell asleep. So, inspirational. I gotta grab a smoke and we might interview a person or two. We'll see. But well attended. Is everybody streaming out pretty good?
What'd you think?
Oh, amazing. You know, it's so much, like I fell asleep during Carney. I dropped my phone. I was sitting down. I dropped my phone. He was so boring. He did a great job, and he's the favorite that I've seen. What do you think? You think he did good?
Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah, hard not to get
fantastic.
inspired. It really is.
We've got a good man who's going to run this country efficiently.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. And
Yeah.
now people have hope again.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It's nice to see. Do you think he's a big improvement over Scheer and O'Toole? I don't feel there's the same enthusiasm. I don't think they're as good of communicators, or there's something about him. He's inspiring more Canadians for the Conservatives than any leader has.
That's what I would say. This is
interesting.
I voted Conservative the first time in the provincial election.
Okay.
And this is
Right.
the first time I've voted Conservative in the federal election.
How cool. So you said you voted NDP before?
Yep.
Wow, that's a big departure.
Well,
Interesting.
they went from a sort of common sense.
Right.
They looked after the working guy and gal.
That's what
and
the focus
they had
was.
good common sense policies and everything
Right.
like that. And now they've gone more to a radical
Yeah,
left
become a little
wing side.
hardcore woke, soft on
Hardcore
crime.
woke. Yeah.
Right.
Soft on
Right.
crime and everything like that. I
Well
just want some common sense. He's got my vote
Wow,
because
big
he's
difference.
aspiring to the little person.
Right.
He's looking at everybody. He wants to unite this country, and it is very divided right now.
It is, yeah. But
So,
And I think his rhetoric has not been divisive or violent or
No.
racist, as CBC says. He speaks about unity the whole rally.
They're saying
you know?
that way because they know they're in trouble. They're losing their meal ticket.
Right,
In a
interesting.
hurry. They're losing
Interesting.
it. So he's an enemy.
Right.
He's an enemy of
Right.
their way of thinking.
Right, and they're nervous because you saw what happened with Kamala and Trump, and a lot of people were shocked that all these Democrats, it's comparable to the NDP and the conservatives, a lot of these Democrats who kind of felt like they stood for the working person, with all the woke stuff, soft on crime, he won, and I feel like they're undercounting people like you who are switching from the Liberal or the NDP.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna predict a strong conservative majority.
Wow, cool. You think a whole majority? I like it. I like it.
A strong majority,
Cool.
I would say. Well, this island is traditionally NDP.
Yes.
And now...
Green a little bit, right? Or was. Paul Manley, I guess,
be.
for a moment. Yeah.
Could be.
Different parts of it. Nanaimo specifically,
They're
and up here, yeah.
insignificant.
Right.
They're, a vote
Yeah.
for the Green Party is that same left-wing type of thinking.
Right.
So-
Although I admire the guts a little bit because they've at least been a little more oppositional to Trudeau than NDP has a little bit. And there's this effort to really block all the third parties and kind of eliminate them.
She was
but-
a
Yeah, I know.
big hypocrite.
Right.
Elizabeth May, she said
Okay.
oil was dead
And
and everything. Then she had a picture of her and her daughter on a private airplane
I know that.
and everything. So you know what? If you're going to open your big yap, you better be true to what you're saying.
True words never spoken.
Yep.
Well put. I'm Dodge, by the way. Thank you. Great
You're
info.
Dodge.
I appreciate it. Very eloquent. Great meeting you. Good luck. Met some cool people here. Beautiful sunset. Marquita, sorry, Nancy emailed me. She's from Abbotsford. I got you and Nancy confused. I'm sorry you're so close in Surrey. I didn't know. Have you ever emailed me or anything? Marquita, apologies. I got you confused with somebody who was out in Abbotsford. But apologies for that. I might sign off, try to charge my phone soon. But this is a great event. He's a good communicator. I think he's probably definitely more inspirational than when I was watching Carney, I think by a mile. So we'll see the results of this election. If you're just joining us, I'm just some American schmuck covering the election in Canada. I think it's important, especially because you can't learn much from the CBC in terms of enthusiasm, crowd size, and what the actual truth is. So I figured I'd just head up north, and now I've been to rallies of all four major candidates. I did minus, Blanchette, but I've gone to the Greens, NDP, Carney, 2 days ago, and today Pierre. Pierre had by far the biggest attendance, not even close. In fact, that Jagmeet Singh had about half of the people that Carney had. Carney's was that kind of pathetic. The rally was that lightly attended. But you can see that CBC wasn't filming the crowd size or making any comparisons, besides for just trying to dismiss Pierre's crowd size. So that's why you go here. I thought he did a great job. The tightrope of Trump that people view here is interesting, and they like him on certain policies minus the tariffs. But I think the tariffs is not going to help out Carney at the end, because he threw up on himself and completely lying about his communication with Trump. And the reality is Trump bullied him. That's the reality, is he let Trump bully him. So it's funny, you might think that Pierre is more closer to Trump on a lot of issues, but I don't know if he's going to get bullied the same way. And I don't know, to me, I'm not big on Trump, but this Canadian conservatism seems a lot more practical, pragmatic. There's not really racist rhetoric. There's wanting to secure borders. It's interesting to hear that in Canada. You don't really hear secure borders. This is the first time I've ever heard a Canadian politician say secure our borders. So that was interesting. But you don't see them being anti-immigrant in that same way. So it might be a more appealing strands of conservatism. But we'll see. All the polls are significantly tightening. Liberals are still ahead. There's still this tariff issue hanging over. But even going to the rally of the NDP, you see some significant enthusiasm for the NDP, and a lot of people feel like Carney has copped out on Israel, et cetera, et cetera. And I think NDP is going to pull out stronger than they think. At least that's the vibe that I got at that rally. And because of that, I think the Liberals are going to lose a lot more safe seats than they thought they'd hang on to. I wouldn't call the NDP dead forever. So I think Pierre could pull it out. I really do. And again, all the poll number, the groups that he's doing uniquely, remarkably well with are young people, which again follows that same narrative of the U.S. where people didn't see that coming. So you can see a lot by enthusiasm. As I said before, you can see the election kind of changing. And what the reality was, I went to cover the U.S. presidential one, and I went to a Trump rally and a Harris rally in the same day. Trump had a stadium filled, but Harris had like a tiny state fairground thing half filled. And the media wasn't saying that. Nobody was really going to her rallies. I had to actually be there to show up, and then she loses. So similar situation here. US and Canada first, cool. Still people are filtering out. Yeah, very well attended rally. I might go soon before my phone dies. I gotta make it to the ferry. Oh, we got 32 people watching though, so we may as well interview some folks. Say hi. People are kind of more friendly to talk than at the Carney rally. Oh, there's some nice people at the Carney rally as well. Man, y'all hands it. I had it at the Nanaimo bar for the first time. It was a little rich for me, but my dog liked it. I will say that. We'll try to interview some people. Oh, the Rebel News is here. Cool. Rebel News is welcome here. That's a refreshing. They're the one other news organization that will actually tell you the truth. I just want to give you guys a shout out. I'm from the U.S. and I have a little independent YouTube, but I appreciate you guys actually telling the truth. Yeah, I'd be honored. Sure. Okay, thank you.
Cheers. It's on this side.
Cool. Perfect.
What's your name?
Dodge Landisman. Weird
And you're
name.
here from the States?
Yeah, here from the States. This is an important election. Americans are finally watching. They're not buying the narrative that CTV or CBC has given to them. And I thought it was important to have somebody on the U.S. kind of promote this election, let people know the issues on the table, and going to every single rally and filming the actual crowd size. I went to a Carney rally. It was a tenth of the people that were here. You don't see the light audience mentioned by the CBC at the Carney rally. So that's why it's important.
What do you think of how many young people are at this rally? It's record-breaking.
It's impressive. It's impressive. It seems like when I was at the Carney rally, 70% of people were born 1950 or before. This is kind of flipped. And you see the same trends. I covered the U.S. presidential election in Milwaukee, went to a Trump and Harris rally the same day. Trump had big rally. Harris had a very small one. The media didn't talk about it, but you saw the difference of enthusiasm. And the biggest percentage that he was leading by unexpectedly was young people. Same with Pierre. He's leading shockingly with high numbers that the Conservative Party has never gotten before. Not with Scheer, not with O'Toole. He's a different type of candidate. So a different result will happen, I think.
Why was it important for you to come down to Canada to cover this? Because typically it's more Canadians and the world looking at the U.S. election, which is
we're looking at you.
Huge. And then all of a sudden Canada is on the world stage because we've got a globalist WEF contributing person that is currently the Prime Minister. He was sort of selected by a small
unelected
group of people, and running against Pierre Poilievre here. So why was it important for you to cover the Canadian election?
For a few different reasons. First, what happens in Canada has a lot to do with us. What happens with trade, what happens with tariffs. And to truly understand the United States, you have to understand Canada, particularly at this specific time. The other reason I want to go up here is because there's conception that the citizens of Canada are all uniformly hard left. I wanted to indicate that there was this real streak of conservatism, this effort to want to secure the borders over here for safer cities, to be less relaxed on punishments for crime. And I wanted to show people that there were conservative people here as well in Canada, and kind of, you know, promote that and say there are a lot of people who think like you north of the border. It's not all these hardcore left Trudeau supporters at all.
Yeah, and you saw the crowd sizes, I'm assuming, happening all across the nation in this election season. That seems unprecedented. What did you think about those? Because typically Canada doesn't have crowds this size at an election event. It's more typical for the American sort of political landscape to have these kinds of crowd sizes that you saw at Trump's rallies. And this is sort of mimicking that, isn't it?
Yes, very similar. And again, that it's not too dissimilar. The Trump rallies that I visited, like when I was in New Hampshire for the primary, had a similar amount of people in a similar set than Pierre has right now. And for Canada to have 10% of the population, but for him to have similar numbers, there's this huge enthusiasm that isn't being recorded. And of course, CBC and CTV are trying to block you guys from actually recording that. But you know, the more that people are here, the more they actually broadcast the truth, I think.
Well, that's certainly what we're trying to do.
Yeah, good for you.
Well, thanks for having a chat with us.
Yeah, thanks for the good work. Honor to meet you.
Okay.
And thank you guys. You want to subscribe? It's Dodge Landisman. It's the YouTube.
Cheers.
And guys, subscribe to Rebel News. Nice to meet you. Thank you. You're the best. Cool. That was fun. I catered my message a little bit. Okay, we got some believers of Pierre. That's fun. Maybe you'll see me on Rebel News. Quite possibly. Really hope the same things happen here in Canada. We need the conservatives. I'm kind of feeling that. I'm not ultra-conservative at all, and I'm not pro-Trump. But I don't know. This kind of conservatism seems pretty mild and pragmatic. And, you know, Canada's become unaffordable, and I've traveled around and have seen the homelessness just explode. So I'm weird though. I'm the one person, maybe because I'm American, the one person to say this. I'm like torn between Pierre and Jagmeet Singh. I think Jagmeet is also fights for what he believes in very different ways, but not on Team Carney, I'll tell you that. He is a libtard, somebody says. O'Toole sucked. Yeah, you didn't see the same enthusiasm for O'Toole or Scheer at all. And I was around a little bit for O'Toole, not much, but I went to a rally and it would be like a community center, and that's all it would be. So this is different. I don't know, man. I saw the same stuff with the Trump thing last week. Oh, Trump, he was going to lose it. You know, the rally at Madison Square Garden was a disaster. He said all this stupid shit. But everybody's underestimating the young people. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
From the US?
Yes. What's going on?
Good. I just listened to you talk.
Oh, cool. I appreciate that. How are you?
That's great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of them. Yeah, thank you. Do you want to say a little word or two while you're here? What issue is important to you?
Sure.
I love it. Thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot.
That's okay. That's okay. I don't mind. Are you recording it right?
I am. Yeah, I can put it aside if you
I
want.
guess somebody did have you.
All right, always going live.
Vancouver Island. Have you been here before?
No, not first time in the island specifically. Been to Vancouver before.
Totally different.
Yeah. A little more relaxed here. Yeah.
For us, I mean, we have a lot of issues.
Sure.
But one of the most important, I would say for me, anyway, for us, is freedom, like censorship.
Yeah.
Because Carney is from the West, and you're going to do what they did in the UK, where people are going to jail because they like to post on Facebook.
Yeah.
And
Right.
most people
Well,
don't even know that.
Right. You've seen it with the bank accounts already, and
Oh,
Convoy.
I've seen all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
It's absolutely crazy, right? So that to me is one of the most important things. And then just opening up, getting the pipelines through, and
Yeah.
getting stuff going in here. This stuff with Trump is like total BS.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kind of you think it's kind of a sideshow?
Well,
well, to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
actually, we like Trump.
Sure. He's done a lot of good
You know
things.
what?
Yeah.
He shook up the
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
he's pretty bombastic and all that.
Sure.
Great, but that's okay, right? But he gets stuff done. And as far as I'm concerned, all this 51st state crap just started because we wanted to dig at Justin. Justin was
Yeah.
a total
Yeah.
buffoon, right?
He was running it like a governor.
You know, it's like playing with the guy a total idiot. So
Yeah, no, I don't think
Trump is
anybody's-
just having fun doing
Right.
it.
So you're not taking it seriously. I'm not
Totally.
taking it seriously. Right.
No.
You know what?
Right.
There's no way that would ever happen
Right.
unless the U.S. wants to invade Canada and then we'd roll over because they have no chance. But I don't believe that's going to happen. That's
Right.
not
No,
gonna be a good
no,
look,
that would
right?
never happen. No.
So,
No,
to
nor
me,
does he
this is
want
all
to.
BS.
Right.
And Buddy Carney,
Right.
right, he claims to be dealing with Trump, but in actual fact,
Well, completely
he's had a
lied.
buddy- he's had a month. He hasn't even gone and talked to him.
Do you think he's let Trump bully him, and do you think Pierre would be actually stronger against Trump, ironically?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've gotta
you know
feel
what,
like he
first
let him
of all,
bully
in
him.
The last free trade agreement with the U.S., they had the Canadian ministers go down and, right? Like Krista Freeland and her ilk.
Right.
Trump couldn't stand them. Like, hell, we can't stand her. Right? They're horrible. So, I mean, you saw it Pierre. Like, he's a regular kind of a guy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, you
Very
sit
relatable.
down
Yeah.
And you work it out.
Yeah.
And it's great, right? And getting rid of all this carbon tax stuff is absolutely.
Do you think
BS.
Carney will bring it back if he gets reelected?
Carney will bring back everything. He was the UN envoy for net zero.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that was his job.
That's funny.
started that.
He went
The
around
irony. I had
bloody
no
world
idea.
Peddling that. Oh yeah.
Huh.
And then he
Things you
started
learned
up-
about him.
He started up that Glasgow thing where they got right. Which of course he sets up.
Big issue.
He sets up that whatever it is, $30 billion operation in the Bahamas. He's got some of the Caymans and.
Yeah.
Don't
Nice
bet
bank
for a
accounts.
second that he's out of. He's
Now,
out of.
yeah, now Rebel News has found his spot in the Isle of Man in England.
Yeah,
where
they have
they've got another Brookfield.
They got,
Wow.
Hear
they
that?
have a-
Oh, I gotta
they got
check
a
them out more
guy
often.
there
That's badass.
88 years old that supposedly owns over 25% of Brookfield, which seems unbelievable. And the office is in the third floor of his house.
What is Brookfield exactly? That's new to me. Is that like a property owner thing?
It's a huge, yeah, well, it's a huge
like
development
BlackRock.
company. It's a.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, and they're
Interesting.
huge. They're absolutely huge. Carney was the chairman for a while, part of it, and then vice chair. Right? He hasn't invested himself. He's still
Right. Well, Brookfield's gobbled up a bunch of neighborhoods across the U.S. I think it's the same organization
It
as
is.
my
Yeah.
right.
Matter of fact,
Okay, yeah.
last week, Brookfield bought the Colonial Pipeline.
Oh,
$9 billion they paid for it from Texas to New York.
right.
Right?
They get it right.
And yet he doesn't want to have pipelines here.
That's
The
funny.
guy's totally-
Well, we'll get pipelines on the table to say we're blocking
but
pipelines.
yeah.
Right.
that guy will be destroy this country.
Yeah.
If he's allowed in, he'll destroy it.
Do you think he'll pull it out at the end?
I think
he will.
I think
Yeah.
you know what? Seeing this.
Yeah,
and
this
just
is
the
huge.
other stuff,
Yeah.
You know what? I think Pierre's gonna make it.
Yeah.
And things will change the way
And are you more excited about Pierre than you have been about other conservative nominees than O'Toole or Scheer?
Oh,
Well,
Toole was an idiot. I don't know why I put him in there.
he really
Yeah.
copped out in the convoy.
Scheer-
That was a missed opportunity. I was kind of
that
shocked.
was the problem.
Yeah.
That, you know, Scheer was. I mean, he was the Speaker of the House for 25 years, so, right? Yeah, he had a lot of experience, but he never had to argue with anybody because he's the boss. Just tell him
Right.
talk or don't talk, right? So he was, once he got in and had to actually negotiate with people and
Right.
talk, he
Different,
lost
very
it.
different.
He's a nice enough guy, I think, but he's like,
Yeah, I agree.
He's basically,
No
he's
backbone.
so soft,
Right.
got no backbone, he
Right.
doesn't stand up, right? Yeah.
It's a shame because I think they were a little more forceful in some of the issues. They might have won
They
and prevented
could've-
that term.
They should have been.
Because he won the popular vote, as they often do.
Yeah,
Just funny
that
distinction
was-
being
you
from
know
the
what-
U.S. with Hillary.
Yeah, but they do the same thing in Canada as they do here. They fiddle around with
That's why I'm
the boundaries, you know,
right.
like the Democrats do in the U.S.
Right.
all the time, right?
Right,
We
right.
watch a lot of US. Well, we watch a lot of politics.
It's good you pay attention. It's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm worried too. Do you think there might be a need to want to fix a riding or two? If now they must be Carney threw up on himself in the debate. Now this phone call has come out. Do you think they might try to fix a
phone
riding
call?
or two? Oh, the phone call with Trump and there were
yeah.
information revealed about
Oh,
his
he's
phone call
lying?
with Trump. Yeah,
That's no
he's had a
surprise.
horrible week at the worst time to have it.
If Carney opens his mouth, he's lying.
Right,
I mean, he's like Trudeau was,
right,
but more comes from the liar. The guy is skilled at that.
yeah.
I just astounds me that people vote think he's great because he was a banker. Like he was the government.
Well, that's the worst. That's why I think he's gonna lose. Right.
Right, and then in the UK, right? He absolutely trashed the UK. Hell, they had Liz Truss, the Prime Minister.
Sure.
Went on and was telling Canada that you're going to regret it totally.
Right. Interesting.
If you
Right. She
vote
knew.
that guy
That's
in.
funny. Right. He's worked with them. That's funny. Right.
Yeah, they're all telling us how
Right.
bad he is.
Right.
Not only that, he's been advising, advising Justin for 5 years.
Yeah. I couldn't answer that in the debate.
No, he was.
Right.
He was.
How's
He,
it
Right.
he was all in there. No,
Right,
You know what?
nothing.
He actually even was the guy that recommended freezing the bank accounts of the Canadians. And then he
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's scary.
When that happened, and then he wrote an op-ed in the newspaper, like the, I don't know, Toronto Sun or something, about that, right? But he
Wow.
was the guy who's pushing it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. How scary.
The guy. Anyway, if
scary.
I don't know. If he gets in, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll be here covering it and hope that's not the case. And certainly the rally size, night and day difference. Night and day.
Yeah,
So.
when I saw this, I thought, okay, there's hope. Because this
Yeah.
island generally votes NDP.
That's what I was thinking. And not only that, but
Green,
it's hard. It's not easy to. You have to take a ferry to get out here. So it's not like all these people from Vancouver, that area, could just come out here that easily and drive over. It's
There's
like
people
it's cool.
There's people from Victoria,
Oh, yeah.
from
Cool.
Alberni,
Cool.
from North Island.
Oh, wow. So there are people from all around.
People have been traveling
Yeah.
to get here.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
we already voted. We didn't
Oh,
go
good
here
for you.
to decide,
Cool.
right?
No, I wouldn't think
We
so.
just wanted to
see what was
see what was
happening.
happening.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes,
Cool.
yes.
Good for you to get involved.
Okay, thank
You know,
you.
I
Good
admire
meeting
you
you.
coming out. Good,
Well, welcome
likewise.
to the island.
Thank you. Honor to be here. Everybody's been amazing so far.
Oh,
So
well, good. We're friendly over here.
I can tell. Well, thank you for the warm welcome.
So
I wish I
what's
could
your
live
channel
here.
name
Thank you for asking. It's Dodge Landesman, Dodge, and I criticize the Scientology religion. I used to be a local TV news
Oh, yeah.
anchor, got fired for talking about them, but I got a big audience on YouTube. But if you search Dodge Scientology, because I've been speaking out against them, you should be able to find it fairly
Okay.
easily.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so just
well,
Dodge Scientology and it'll
check you
pop
out.
up. Thank you. That's
All
very
right.
nice.
Anyway.
Well, very nice to meet you
Okay,
guys.
Good evening.
Maybe I'll see you if he's at another rally. You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see you
Yeah.
again.
Elections on Monday.
That's true. So probably not. Well, you guys are awesome. Thanks for being so eloquent. Appreciate it. Cool. Vote for Pierre if you want health care. Healthcare's a big thing, isn't it? Polls are lying, says Jimmy Zoo. Mark is a liar. They're getting a lot closer. Fortunately, Trump has driven people back to the liberals, says Airwords. He has. Who knows if he drove enough? I wish he would stop talking about the 51st state. I do like a lot of what Trump doing, but he has really hurt Pierre. I agree with that. Not with I like what Trump is doing, but that he's hurt Pierre. Need to get business cards. Maybe I should. I don't think about that as I talk to people, but then people always ask me what your channel is, so I really should get business cards. It's probably well worth it. That's awesome. You smell some weed here. Cool, cool, cool. Man, I gotta get a taxi in all this mess. Uh-oh. Now I gotta make a 10 p.m. I gotta make a 10:10 ferry. So I gotta go, guys. I gotta make my ferry and find a taxi. If you had a Nanaimo, I did have a Nanaimo bar. It was interesting. It was a little rich for me. My dog liked it a lot, though. He enjoyed it. We went to that 24-hour bakery place. It was quite good downtown. You fart? I did not fart this time. I farted in the past on stream, but I did not fart in this stream, no. Lies, 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 lies. All right, guys, I had to deal with my stuff. Much love to you all. Finally, we got a nice audience just as I'm ending things. Please do subscribe for more coverage of the Canada election. I think the last thing we'll do is we're in BC locked, so there's a rally tomorrow. I think I've already done one rally, but I think I'll go to Jagmeet Singh's headquarters probably because that's in BC. My assumption is if he's in BC, his riding is BC, obviously he'll be in BC on election night, so I'll probably be in Jagmeet Singh's headquarters watching the results roll in. Hello from Australia. Cool. Love you all, guys. Bye bye. Please do subscribe.